Hello, it is Karen, crafty little Miss K, and I am back from the wilderness. I have been missing from my craft channel now for a good 2 years, maybe more. There's been a few issues. I've had a couple of health things I needed to sort out. I've had a couple of very close relations who suddenly died, one of which was my dear sister, who I miss terribly. And she's basically, or the grief of losing her has been basically the reason I haven't been anywhere near my craft room. I just found it was just too distressing to think about crafting, because we just started getting together to make things to sell together, and we were going to go into business together. But anyway, that's all gone now. I took a sabbatical away from my craft room, decided to do something else instead. So I taught myself how to crochet. Thank you to Bella Coco and various other members of the YouTube community. And now I just can't do enough crochet. I've been making lots of things for Christmas for my grandchildren. Luckily, I've got a very lovely daughter and a very lovely daughter-in-law who adore homemade or hand-created garments for the children. So they're going to be lots of new goodies for them over Christmas time. But I'm not going to talk about that because I know that at least one person follows me in the family, and I don't want any secrets getting out. So today, paper crafting. I'm going to be making a box, a very simple box. It's very quick to make. The decoration is entirely up to you. I decided to jazz it up. I'm going to show you this stamp set in just a second. This is one of my new ones, and I really enjoyed making it, and I realized how much I'd missed my paper crafting by not being around. So I'm going to take a seat. I'm going to show you what I've done, and let's go. So I've got a very creaky chair, probably because lack of use. So my box is, like I said, it's very simple. I'm using up some old paper from my stash, some old ribbon from my stash. It's not even Stampin' Up ribbon. But obviously, like I said, this is a new stamp set, and I'm going to see if I can get it without knocking everything flying. Managed to do that. So this is the stamp set. Let me just check to make sure it's on screen. Yep. So this is the stamp set, Handmade Wishes, and it comes with a punch, although it's not a bundle anymore. It was a bundle earlier on. I know they've separated them now, so you have to buy them separately, but this one was in the sale on Stampin' Up, so I got it quite cheap, and I was quite happy to pay for the full price for the punch because I got this one cheap. So I have used this one here. I have used the Christmas, and I've used the Merry, or you could use Happy if that's what you want to do, and I've also used the Holly, and I've, instead of doing the berries, I've actually done some gems. And then this one here is a double stamp. It's sort of stuck together. Let me see if I can grab it. So I don't know if you can see this. So it's stuck together. But what I've done is I went and just stamped into the corner of my stamp pad just to do the larger one. I'll show you how I did that later on. So let's get going, let you know what's inside. I'm not going to open this. This took me such a long time to get this bow pretty, so I'm not going to open it. But basically inside we have a hand cream from this tin. Now this tin I got from Amazon. I was looking around to see what I could get for people for Christmas. Came across this, thought, no, I don't want to buy somebody a big tin of hand cream, but I have got some very close friends who I no longer work with because they've retired, and we're all getting together for lunch this coming week, and I wanted to make them a little table favour to take home with them, which I do try and do most years. And inside it comes with 6. Now I've obviously filled 2 boxes already, so it comes with 6 hand creams. They are 28 grams, so it's just a small amount. So it's just a little tiny gift, a little favour. You could put it as a stocking in your stockings, or Christmas crackers gifts might be very nice if you've got some friends you want to make crackers for. So, and also I get to keep the tin, which I love, and the green here happens to be Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to decorate the tin after Christmas, and I should probably use it to keep all my tools in, because at the moment they are scattered all over my desk. So what I've done is, I will show you later on, but what I've done is I've just taken a little tiny, I had a bag left over of some little treats, and I've just sort of wrapped it round the hand cream, stuck it in the box, and it just stops the hand cream from rattling around, and it gives them a little tiny chocolate treat as well. One of my friends is diabetic, so I really don't want to encourage her to eat too much chocolate. So onto the project. Let's just move everything out the way. I've pre-cut my and pre-scored my card, but I'll go through it with you very quickly. So this is a blueberry bushel. You might notice that this blue is a slightly different one. I had 2 sheets left from a blue card colour that had retired, and I thought, just use them up. So I've just used those 2 there. I used the 2 sheets for that. So basically, this is, let's see if I can find my notes for the measurements. This is 6.5. So it's 6.5 this way, 7.5 that way. Okay. And if I find my scoreboard, we'll go through the scoring, although I know I have already scored this. We'll just go through it very, very quickly. I used my double-ended tool. I've used the narrow point at this stage just to get that nice groove going on there. So basically I took the long side and I scored at 1/2 inch, at 2 inches, at 6.5 inches, and at 8. What I'll do is I'll put all the measurements below in the description, so you can get the measurements before you start the video or after you've watched it. I would have said I'd have put it on my blog, but my blog seemed to disappear. I had been paying for a blog just so I could have my own domain, but I gave up the crafting for a while. Like I said, I haven't run a class now since before COVID. Not likely to, because most of the members that used to come along to the classes have moved out of the area now, so it's difficult for us all to get together. So I thought, well, I'll just go back to just using the free version, which meant I lost all my blog posts. So a lot of my blog posts, so a lot of the links in those blog posts that I've still got don't work anymore. So I'm going to put all the measurements in the bit down below while I decide if I want to start a blog again. Anyway, so on the short side, so you've done the long side. So on the short side, it's scored at 1/2 inch again, and at 2 again, and then sorry, excuse me, at 3.5, at 5, and that's it. So just a small amount of scoring. And then I'm just going to grab my larger scissors. I usually use 2 pairs of scissors, one for the larger cuts, one's for the shorter cuts. Now you'll see that you've got 4 channels, all the same width, which is 1.5 inches, and you've got the narrow channel. With the narrow channel to the top on the long side, I'm going to, I'll tell you what, let's just score everything first. Actually, let's just fold everything first. I did try on the first box cutting everything and then folding all the score lines, but I didn't like it, so I'm going to do it back to the way I used to do it. So just quickly get all those done. Oops. So, are everybody ready for Christmas yet? Has anybody started? Crafters usually start in the summer. I haven't, so I'm running behind. Anyway, so back to where I was saying before. So the narrow point, the narrow panel is at the top there. Okay. What I want you to do now is take your scissors. Actually, let's start with it at the bottom, I think. I'm going to turn my paper around so I don't get confused. Okay, so your narrow panel is now down the bottom. What we're going to do, if I find my Sharpie... Oh, I've got them in a box and they're wedged in so tightly because they're upright. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to lose this square, this one, and this one to start off with. Okay, so let's do that. And so just cut straight. Now I will normally do, this is going to be the flap that opens and closes the box. So what I usually do is cut just inside that score line, that bump of a score line there. Just so that it's not there. You can't see it when you see the lid of the box. All right. So I'm just going to do those 2 first. Now, like I said, my camera's quite high. I can't actually see if I'm on screen, so I'm hoping you can see. And then instead of going straight across, I'm just going to wedge that slightly inwards to create almost like the standard like roof. If your child's drawing a house, the roof's are straight and then a bit of an angle down there. I'm going to do the same on this one. Okay, so that's those 2. So these 2 pieces here are going to be the flaps top and bottom, so we don't want to touch those right now. But what I want to do is cut up the rest of these. So again, because this is going to be the flap, I want to come just inside of the score line. That's going to be cut away in a moment anyway. So we'll do those 2 first. Okay, And then what I'm going to do, the rest of it, you can just cut up on the score line, however you want to do it. Like this. Now the reason I use large scissors is because I can't cut in a straight line. Sounds crazy, but I can have a wavy line using a straight pair of scissors, believe me. So I don't use my little scissors at this stage, just for trimming. Okay, so now you've got all your flaps, top and bottom. Don't forget that's the flaps for the top and bottom of the box. So what I want to do now is this one, the middle ones here, they are going to be cut away completely. So what I usually do is fold the ones either side back, and then again using my big scissors, I just cut that away like that. Same on this side. Leave that one out, either side of it, push them out the way, and then I can just cut straight across like that. All right. So now you're left with this. Now then, remembering these two you're not going to touch at all at the moment. What's left, these 4 ones that are left, I'm just going to cut in half, like so. And around this side. And here. Get rid of those. Now, I'm going to move over to my little scissors again now. These ones are going to be, you know when you bring a lid down, you've usually got 2 side ones that meet. That's what these are. So what I want to do is just trim them up a little bit, just a tiny little sliver off of each end, just so they don't overhang and stop the lid from closing. So just a tiny little smidgy of a, you see, just tiny little pieces coming off. Basically you're cutting away the bumpy score line. I'm just going to get rid of that little bit there. That's it. And the same on this side. Small amount, small amount, and the last one. Oops, there we go. And so you're left with this. One last thing, you can either use a corner rounder, or you can just do a little wedge on these narrow bits at the end here, just the narrow bits, not this bit, just this piece here, both sides. One of them I'm going to glue down, and the other one will obviously be the piece that opens. That'll be the top. So you're left with this now. So if we turn it over, I'm just going to get rid of all this rubbish here. Like so. All right, let's move everything. I don't need my folder anymore. I don't need my big scissors anymore. Okay, so I have pre-cut my paper just for quickness. So I've got 4 of the pieces to go on these larger panels here, and I've also cut 2. Now these ones, so this is like 1.5, so this is 1.5 by 4.5 here. So these panels are going to be 4.25 by 1.25. If you want centimeters, I will try and see if I can convert them, but there is always going to be a slight difference. So I will give you the equivalent by googling the difference and to make it into centimeters. You might find there's a slight difference in size though, so just be aware of that. I tend to use inches mainly. What I'll do is my next video, what I'll do is I will make it as a centimeter measurement and then put the inches down as a conversion. So these are all going to be on here like so, and then these 2 are going to be just on the top and the bottom like that. Okay, you don't really need one on the bottom, especially because the ribbon is going to be covering it, but you know, just to finish it off nicely. And then I'll just put some glue on the joining thing. So let's get these done first. Now again, for quickness, she says, hunting out her glue. This is, I've got a tape runner here. Normally I use wet glue, but just for quickness, I'm going to use one of these. Again, this is not a Stampin' Up one. I'm just using up old stash to make a bit of space in my craft room. If you feel that you're not confident to be able to get the borders even with using a, because once this is down, that's it, it's down. At least with the glue, you've got a little bit of wiggle to alter it. If you're not confident in getting your borders, please use the wet glue. Don't use it too much because we don't want it oozing out from underneath. But I'm not, considering I can't cut to a straight line to save my life, I'm usually, she says, as she's on camera, I'm usually pretty good at doing my borders, giving a nice even border, provided I've got the measurements right, of course. Okay, so this paper came from, if anybody's got it, last year we went gnome crazy, and this was from the gnome designer paper pack. It's got little toadstools on that side, which I'm not that bothered by, so I do like snowflakes. So that's that. It's funny, that is a square, right? That's what is that? 1 1/4 by 1 1/4, and yet I just had to turn it around. Did you notice that? I just had to turn it around until it looked right. No reason. Okay, so I'm happy with that one there though. That's straight down. Okay, so that's done. So my next bit here, again, you can use wet glue, but it does take time to dry. And yet, do you know what? Considering I tidied my craft room to do this, I can't believe how I can't find anything. I'm going to move everything out of the way as I use it, just so I know where it is, put it back where it belongs. So I'm going to put my tape on now. And what I tend to do is I don't put it right up to that fold line, that score line. I put it just inside. Okay. And then my scissors are right there. You can tear or just cut. And so the double-sided tape or the wet glue, I wouldn't use a tape runner unless it's an extra strong one. Stampin' Up! Do one, it's called Seal Plus. That's really good. You can use that just to cut to seal boxes, but like I said, I'm trying to use Old Stash just to get rid of it all. And then because I've got that little gap there, because it is 1/4 of an inch, it's a 1/2 inch rather than 1/4 of an inch flat there, I'm just going to add a little tiny bead of wet glue, just so it will actually stick down, just a tiny little amount, like that. It's just so it'll stick down, so it doesn't catch, doesn't move around. You know, when you're trying to put your goodies inside your box, doesn't catch on them. So let's just take that off. And then now what I do here is I just fold it like this, bring the other one in, and provided my measurements are correct, which they are, there we go. And then what I do now is I just check to make sure that the flaps will close, top and bottom. Got a little bit more to do just yet. Yes, they do, they work a treat. So I'll make this one's slightly looser, so I'm actually going to make this one the one that I close. And to do that, to glue close, I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue like that, bring over the lid, and the glue that's on the flaps will stop that lid from opening, and then get inside. Can't find where to open it, there it is. Get inside there with my bone folder and just give it a little push around just to make sure that those flaps are securely glued down. Now, because I had trouble finding that, because that was such a nice join, it makes a change, I've actually put in a little thumb, as you can see here, I've just put in a little thumb bit there to make it easier to open up. So that is my 1/2 inch punch, circle punch, and then I've just popped it in, and I've just done it by eye. I've just worked out roughly the halfway point either side, and then just, and it's tiny little, it's almost like a little fingernails. You know, if you've got long nails, you cut them. So that's that. Let me just put that away so don't get that in the way. Now my hand creams, I'm going to use this one, I think, which, oh, I've got a really nice stamp set for this one, and maybe not, maybe I won't use that one, or maybe I'll use this one. What am I, oh, you'll use this one, use this one. Okay, so this has got a cute little cat on it with a Santa's hat, and I think we'll have, because it's a star on the tree, I'm going to use some of my magic stars. So I'm just going to wrap that, I think I did, I think I did it that way when I put it in the box before. Probably won't be able to do it now. And then just slide them in together like that. That's beautiful. So that's that. So we're nearly there now. Now the next bit is going to be stamping. So I've got all my stamps all mounted up ready to go. These are clear stamps. If you're using, the blue doesn't seem to affect it anywhere in any way, but if you're using a red based ink, you might find it stains the stamps and they don't come clean. That's okay, as long as you give them a good clean to take off the top. The staining doesn't affect them at all. And I have got, so that's my stamps that I'm using again, and I have got Blueberry Bushel, which is the colour of the card, and then I've got some Shaded Spruce, which is going to be for the holly, and I've got some Pool Party, which is going to be for the snowflake. I don't know if you noticed the snowflake slightly off centre down there. So let's move that out of the way, we don't want that right now. And then I've just got a scrap of white card, again somewhere. Oh gosh, it was sitting there. It is. I was going to say it was sitting right here. I've got one ready for the box I've made that hasn't got a label on yet, so I've done that one already. So I'm not really one for hand stamping because I don't know. I've got used to using a stamping platform in like my Stamparatus that freehand stamping seems slightly alien to me, but we're going to give it a go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them across the top like that and try and remember to not put the stamp in the wrong colour. So basically what I want to do first, I'm going to use the frame. Okay, so a little tap tap. You only need a light tap if you're using Stampin' Up stamps for the ink pads for the first time. They are very juicy. You don't need to really grind it into the stamp pad. And then I'm going to do this on an angle because look at this. See, this is from the green. The punch actually punches like that way. And so to make sure that I don't have to cut any card away, I'm actually going to do it at an angle like this. Just like that. Just hold it for a second and then take it off. And I might as well do my last one as well, because I've got one more box to do, because there's 4 ladies that I'm making these gifts for. I'm going to grab another piece of card because I didn't like the way that last piece stamped. Is that going to be big enough? Yes, it is. Again, it's just a way of using up some of your offcuts and your scrappy bits. Rather than throw them away, put them to good use and make gifts. So let's just try that one again. That's better. And then I've got my trusty stamp cleaning pad next to me. I'm just going to add a bit of stamp cleaner to it and then just give it a good old... I put it on a separate table in the hopes it doesn't shake my camera too much. That's nice and clean now. I need to give that a moment to dry before I put it away. Now the word, I'm just going to make sure I don't use that one. So Christmas is next, also in the blue. And then what you need to do, and I'm going to try not to get my hair in the way, but what you're going to do is you're just going to put it about halfway across the middle there. I might as well do these both at the same time while I'm here. In fact, I might just do this one as well. Oops, not enough ink on that one. It's better. Okay, so clean. I like to clean as I go, that way I don't have to worry about them, the discolouring. The Merry next. And I'm just going to pop that across the top. And I'll just put a little too much ink on that one now there. That's it, give that a clean. That's it. Now I'm done with the blue, so I'm going to close it so I don't make a mess, because I usually end up with ink all over my hands. Now the green, this is the darker one, this is for the holly. Now these ones come as 2 separate stamps. So what I did is, when I did the first label, I placed the labels, the stamps on where I wanted it to be, so they positioned where I want them to be. And then when you stamp, you get them exactly the right distance apart. There we go. That's that one. So that was finished with now. And then finally, like I mentioned earlier, I'm just going to use the larger of those 2 snowflakes. You could cut this apart, but I always worry I'm going to lose a tiny little stamp like that. So I'm just going to just gently pop it into the corner there. Place this roughly in the middle. I am rubbish at getting my positioning. I'll do my best. I'm not bothering to put one at the top there, because I'm just going to put a what you could do is you could punch a hole and hang it from your gift, or I'm just going to stick it onto the front. I did punch a hole on this one, then I decided last minute I wasn't going to hang it because I'd already done the ribbon, so I actually just stuck it to the front of the box and placed a gem to hide the hole. So I'll put a gem on the other ones as well. Right, so this is the part that is always fun, making sure you've got it centered just right. what I tend to do is try and work out one side and then just jiggle it around. That's not bad. Finally, what I'm going to do is bring over my gems. So I've got some red gems there, and I've got some old, just a strip of, these are still current, but I've just got a strip that obviously probably came in a little project pack. So I'm just going to place one of these where you would normally place, let's move this out of the way, where you would normally place your hole if you're going to make it a label, you know, to hang from your gift. So I'm just going to do that first of all. That saves me having to make a try and get the snowflake up there as well. So final one, there we go. And then some of the reds, and these make great berries, really great berries. And I just put 3 on. I've got like a holly tree in my back garden, but it's not a spiky holly tree. Has all the colours of the holly and has the red berries and stuff, and that is prolific at the minute. So I'm going to probably cut a few of the branches when I start decorating the house. So I've got some natural greenery in the house too. I tend not to have houseplants because I tend to forget to water them and then I kill them. I'm not a very good mummy when it comes to houseplants. Okay, so that's pretty much all done now. I think that's so pretty, and it adds a nice little bit of glitter to the front. And then let's just decorate this one first. So you can either put a bead of glue, put some glue down, make sure you've got it the right way round, because I don't want to put glue across the way. And then it's just a strip of glue, double-sided tape, whatever. I think I'm going to put this about halfway down. Yep, that's that one. And then the ribbon. Let's find my ribbon. So I've got these scraps of ribbon. What I did is, these are 16, about 20, just over 20 inches, about 21 inches long, these things. And I've just found the middle part just by folding it, and I've just added a bit of, you can put a glue dot on it or something. It's just to hold it in place at the bottom of the box while you're tying your ribbon up. Now, my ribbon tying leaves a lot to be desired, so I'm going to try and do this in one, but if not, I will pause the camera, do it off camera, and then come back. So let's have a go. This is beautiful and sparkly ribbon. You've got to have sparkle at Christmas time, don't you? Oh, that's not bad at all. I just need to snip. I'm not even going to play about with that. I'm just going to leave that. Just snip that piece off. And then again, a little bit of glue down there, roughly halfway. And that's it done. Let me just move all this stuff out the way so you can see the finished result. I've got one more box to actually make, so I can get that done once I've finished filming here right today. Let's move this out the way, move them out the way, move that to one side so I don't lose it, and there we go. So I'll put that, because it's the one that's odd blue there. So that's beautiful. Really pretty little gift there, not too expensive, ideal as, like I said, a table favour or a cracker filling. I mean, you could even pop the whole box inside the cracker, just don't put the label on it. I've got one piece of card left to make, and the last one. And then the last 2 hand creams in here, I might just make some more and just put them as stocking fillers for my daughter and my daughter-in-law, or I might keep them for myself. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to crafting again soon. Hopefully I'll have something more Christmassy. If I can get another one in before Christmas, I'd be really happy. But my life seems so full. It seems to be a big round of work. I've still got some crochet to finish. Anyway, so these are really pretty. These turned out way prettier than I thought, because I thought it's just a plain old box. no. I mean, I've got my first one I did, which is a bit rough. If I just put that together just to show you, I mean, that's just a plain old box. That's nothing, is it? But once you put some ribbon on it, a bit of bling, a nice label, it pretties it up, doesn't it? And that's going to look really pretty on the table. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Again, thank you so much for all your messages of support over the last couple of years. I'm determined it's not going to be another 2 years before I do another video. And also thank you also for subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.